Hold on to that feeling, street light, people, oh. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Okay, getting my phone situated. And there's a tail behind me. There's a cat behind me. Hey, Kit Kat. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Monday night mini medicine card reading. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman. Hey, Tammy. All right. Hello. All right. Wow. Okay, we've got. I was a little bit late, kind of. So we have Tammy and Emerald and Roulette and Joe. All right, so hello everybody. Had to write that stuff down before I actually got to my introductions. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to do some mini medicine card readings. So the way this works, if you are new here, yes, I grew a tail. I've got a cat here. So the medicine cards, I love these medicine cards. Each card has a different animal on it, and each animal has a different message, different energy, and so depending on which animal comes up for you, it is a different message from that totem animal, from our animal spirit guides. And the way this works is the first 6 people to comment yes get a 1-card reading tonight. And my only request is that you share this video. You can tag somebody in the comments. You can share it to someone's wall or page, but that is my one ask for watching this video. And we've got 4 yeses already. Oh, Emerald, you said hello, and I already put you down as a yes. So you're good. So we have 4 people so far. There's a couple of openings still. That's Butternut and Daryl and Windsor, but technically they're not supposed to be in the shot, so I'm going to adjust my camera. There we go. Alrighty. I was running a little late. I kind of fell asleep again. Oh, thank you, Valerie. I did a reading for Valerie last night, and it was really powerful. So I'm just going to smudge my cards. And we have room. Oh, Kevin, you said yes. Awesome. So we've got 1 more spot open for anyone who wants it. Meanwhile, all right, I need to ground a little bit. I am all over the place. Happy Monday, Kevin. Monday. No guarantee. All right, there we go. Just another manic Monday. Oh. Smudging my cards. All right, so welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. And let's just go on and get started, shall we? So Tammy, you are the first one. All right. Just another manic Monday. Oh. Ba-ba-ba-da-bum-bum. All right, Tammy. You got mouse and oh, that's right, Valerie. You and Emerald. That was Emerald's thing tonight, doing the breath work. That's awesome. Thanks for joining me after all that work, you guys. So Tammy, mouse reversed is what came up for you. Mouse is basically that whole thing about don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small stuff. So in reverse, mouse can be a sense of being overwhelmed, of having, having your brand in too many fires, paying attention too much to what's going on outside of you and how that affects you rather than what's going on inside of you, which is way more important than anything going on around you. So, mouse, it's time to breathe. That's the first thing I'm getting. It's like, breathe. Everything is okay. And everything is going to be okay. Because you are not responsible for saving the world. You are not responsible for making everything work out perfectly. Honor yourself, honor your own. Okay, how do I put this into words? Honor yourself, honor your own talents, your own passions, your own joy, and take care of yourself first, okay? It's funny, I was just thinking about this afternoon. I went down to the river to do ceremony like I do a lot, and I've taken a couple of classes with John Lockley, who is a South African shaman. And one of the things he talks about is what I was kind of ruminating with, and it's like, we worry about what's our purpose here? What are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to help the world, rescue the world? And so our mission, in quotes, is always outside of it. It's like some demand put upon us by some authority, whether it's society, whether it's God, whether it's your parents, whatever it is. And so that results in a feeling of disconnection. We start to feel disconnected from nature. We feel disconnected from the world. And so we start to run around even, faster, trying to change things quicker and harder and to try to connect to the world. But no matter how much you try to connect to the outside world, if you're not whole inside, there's nothing to connect. Does that make sense? All of our, I mean, there's so much stuff going on in the world, and there's so much healing that is needed, and so many things that need to be shifted and changed. But how do I this is something I tried to put into words before, and I always feel like I fail utterly, but your purpose is yourself. You are your purpose. And you have been given all the talents, all the desires, all the passions, all the wisdom, the experiences that you need to find yourself, your connection, your awakening. And it's called awakening because it's not there. I mean, because it's already there. It's not a matter of finding something that's not there. It's already there, and in discovering it, you realize that there was nothing, you had nothing to lose. There's nothing you can lose. Give me a moment, I'm confusing myself now. I'm trying to be, some of you guys are chatting, and I'm trying to pay attention to what people are saying, but let me regroup. So Tammy, it doesn't matter what anyone says or does. It doesn't matter what anyone does anywhere in the world. Your life is your own. And your purpose is to be who you are. We just keep projecting things outside of ourselves. Like, oh, if I can reach this many people, if I can teach this many people, if I can rescue, if I can heal people, if I can make them understand, blah, blah, blah. And our focus is on changing the world out there. But you have to start in here. Like I was talking about John Lockley, and he would have us, everything he does with us, he makes us quiet, he makes us feel our heartbeat. That's spirit. That's the only place you start, because your heartbeat, your blood has been around since the beginning of time. The blood in your veins, it has changed, has transformed through generation after generation after generation. But your blood is what connects you to the earth. You are already connected. You don't have to do anything to connect, right? We keep trying to connect to nature, but earth, water, fire, and air is what makes us up. We are already nature. The only thing in the way is the thought that we have to connect, the thought that we are unconnected, that we become disconnected. And so Mouse lives in this little world, takes care of his own little world, one foot in front of the other, keeping everything simple. I was just talking to someone about that recently. It's like, lately I've been feeling like there's all kinds of different things going on in the world. There's a lot of, there's a lot of like, oh, we have to do this, and we have to stand up to that, and we have to fight that. And I'm not putting any of those things down. But when we do it from the place of fear, when we do it from the place of desperation, we're not changing anything, because the only thing you can change is yourself. And once you connect to yourself, once you are whole in yourself, when you're aligned with your own spirit, again, that heart is what connects you to Great Spirit. And that heart is that what connects you to all humanity. And that's what John Lockley has the word Ubuntu, which means basically becoming human. And you do that by feeling your own heartbeat, by calling in the ancestors of your mother line, the ancestors of your father line, and your adopted ancestors, to be here now, to be who you are right here, right now. You have everything you need. So keep it simple. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small stuff. I was just watching a Kyle Cease video about one of the main mantras in the in our lives, like that's too simple to be true. That's too easy. That's too good to be true. But what if life is easy? What if instead of getting caught into the whirlwind of the world, we slowed down moment by moment and stayed present and just watched the shadows part, because we are here. It's like there's so many of these things that I feel that I cannot put into words. But I see some of your comments, Tamia, so I'm guessing this is hitting home. So I hope that helps. You are the most important thing in your life. And your responsibility to the world, your part in the rescuing or the saving or the healing of the world, however you want to think about it, is taking care of yourself, right? Okay, this is going to be a long night because we're already 20 minutes in. I'm still on the first card, but there's the scene. If you've ever seen the movie Here Comes the Boom with Kevin James, he's this kind of washed up biology teacher, and he used to have all this enthusiasm, and then he started just kind of going, Anyway, there's this scene where he starts to get his groove back, where he starts to get his gumption back, and he's up on top of the desks. He's talking about the cells in the body and how if one starts to slow down, all the rest of them start to slow down, and pretty soon there's illness. But then he said, but if one of those cells starts to move, pretty soon he's bumping into all the cells next to him, and that gets the other cells like, hey, dude, give me my space. And then they start moving, and they're bumping into all the other cells. And pretty soon the entire body is in motion, and it's becoming vital and whole and healthy. It's like healing starts with one cell. And when you are whole, when your world is complete, and I don't mean complete as in finished, like you've reached the destination or whatever. I'm talking about complete in the moment. You're whole. There's nothing more you need. Then you just automatically, you're a cell in the body of the world, and pretty soon, as you're moving to your own drum beat, your own heartbeat, those around you are starting to feel that groove, and their heartbeat starts going, then they're dancing, and so on, and so on, and so on. So the mouse doesn't worry about the cat that lives 2 doors down, right? The mouse is just happy where he is, nibbling on the grass, nibbling on the seeds. So find those small joys. Like Tess from Stargazers, one of my teachers, the one responsible for me being a pipe carrier, she used to talk about, she'd wake up in the morning and be like, okay, I can't wait to find those happy surprises. She would wake up expecting happy surprises throughout her day. And it's just that those little joys, that's like that one cell that starts moving. You start getting happy with that little joy, and that starts bumping into more joys. Then you see more joy. And then, you know, it's the microcosm and the macrocosm. It's like your little joys fill in your whole life, and then your life starts to affect the lives of others, which affects, you know, cities, counties, countries. Holy crap, we're all here. We're all whole. So, whew. Okay, that was a really long explanation for a very simple thing, but don't overcomplicate things. Don't allow yourself to be distracted and to be overwhelmed by what other people are doing, by what's going on the other side of the planet, what's going on in the next town. You are in charge of your own life, and nothing anyone says or does can threaten who you are. And that is the only thing you are responsible for. So love yourself. You're perfect the way you are. There is nothing wrong with you. And as you start to see through the shadows of the illusions that have been cast upon you, more of that light starts to shine, and it radiates out, and it affects the light of every person you come into contact. Awesome. I'm so glad that made sense. I like, sometimes I start to feel like I'm just spinning my wheels, like I'm not really making sense. And then I get lost in my own explanations. But awesome. I hope that is helpful for you. Hey, Kit Kat. Got my little companion here, Kira. It's her fault I was a little late. She was napping on my lap and sucked me into her sleep vortex. All right, so Amaral, you are next. Hi, Kit Kat. You gonna help me pull cards? You're like, where did your lap go? You took your lap away from me. Now I'm gonna see what trouble I can get into. Missy. Kira. Stop. Okay. Amaral, you are next. Hi. Amaral. Dog is the one who came up for you today. Dog is, of course, loyalty. Dog basically has the biggest heart in the animal kingdom. Dog is the guardian. Dog is the gatekeeper. Bye, Missy. I don't know if this is weird, and I don't know you much, Emerald, except for what I've heard from Valerie and stuff, but have you ever worked with Anubis? That's who's coming in really strong right now. Anubis, the Egyptian god of death, the jackal. Oh, and look, I just picked up the cards and coyotes on the bottom of the deck. Lots of canine energy right now. Above all else, canines are about community, right? About that heart. Everything I was just saying to Tammy about heart and how the heart connects you to Great Spirit, and it connects you to all living things. Dog is heart, and it's about that. The whole thing about loving yourself, it kind of fits exactly with what I was saying to Tammy, because it's about that you can't be loyal to others unless you know who you are. You know, you can't pledge loyalty. You can't pledge, oh, hey, Jesse, how are you? Good to see you. In order to devote yourself, to dedicate yourself to something, you have to know who you are. You'd have to know who and what you are dedicating. It's a complete circuit, right? It's like you dedicate yourself to this other thing, which then fulfills you. And so if again, like I was saying with Tammy about being disconnected, you can't, if you're feeling disconnected, you can't be loyal to anything, because you don't have, there's nothing within you to be loyal. And so this is about really finding that love within you, and that inner puppy, that joyfulness. And, you know, dog still has within him that wild and fierceness, right? I'm good. Hey, Jesse, there is one spot left if you want it for one more card reading. I've got, I'm doing good, and but I'm in the middle of the reading, so I will talk to you at some other point about and catch up with you. So dog, wow, I'm just, it's funny. I'm all over the place tonight, but dog is, it's the domestic, right? So but not in the way, like, dog is still, gosh dang it, my words are not coming tonight. Dog is the entire spectrum from domestication to fierce wildness, right? He's the family companion, the family guardian, the family gatekeeper, the one who decides who is safe to approach and who isn't. And he can go from that fierceness, the teeth and the growl, to rolling over like a puppy with, you know, within the same second. So it's a both and situation. Here's the message. Don't let others pigeonhole you, or don't, if people try to pigeonhole you, don't buy into the idea that you can either be fierce and serious and solemn, or you can be fun and goofy. It's like you can be both. You can be both. I was going to say both ends of the spectrum, but you can be the entire spectrum. Just because you're fun-loving and lighthearted doesn't mean you cannot be fierce and serious. There's no reason why those two things can't, and you know, it's like that Oscar Wilde quote about, you know, life is too important to be taken seriously, right? and give yourself permission to learn new tricks. Again, it's like I'm getting that kind of what I talked to Tammy about, that sense of presence, that sense of being in the moment, and the sense of play. You know, every moment is brand new. Just because one moment was heavy and dark doesn't mean that the next moment or the next 30 moments need to be the same way. When you're in the present, and you have that sense of play, it's like, okay, that's where we were just at, but oh, what's that shiny thing? Oh, look, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball. You know, whatever it is. It's through play that we learn the most. That you have that. And the fact that he was upright kind of points to the fact that you're already doing it, that this is validation. And I know for myself, I sometimes need the same validation that, for instance, I had a teacher, I have an art degree, and when I was in this painting class, I used to do goofy paintings. I used to paint like the Loch Ness Monster, or I would paint different, you know, goofy, unserious things. And then we had to paint a still life, and my prof came by and he was like, "Oh wow, you actually have talent." He's like, "I wouldn't have thought that you had that much ability, because, you know, people tend to put you in one camp or the other, but just because you're goofy and can play around doesn't mean that you're not talented, that you're not valid." Does that make sense? I hope that's hitting home. I'm not sure, but between dog coming up and then coyotes showing up as well, there's that trickster. And it's kind of like when you're teaching, when you're leading, I know you're leading groups, you're teaching different things like that. Don't be afraid to do it in a playful way. It's like tricking people into learning through having fun, right? The sense I'm getting is that I think I said this last week, but it's kind of like you really are coming into your own. Coming into your own presence, able to, like dog, being able to express the love that is in your heart, being able to be yourself, be the goofy inner puppy, because if you need to, you can, your hackles can rise and you can growl and stare people down, whatever. You can take care of yourself, you can set boundaries, and it's that ability to take care of yourself that allows you to be the goofy inner puppy at the same time. Does that make sense? I hope that fits. So we are going to move on, because we're going to be going for hours if I keep this pace up. So I hope that is helpful, Amaral. Let me know if that makes sense or if it doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm stumbling over my own words and thoughts and feelings tonight, but all right, Roulette, you are next. Oh, good. That does make sense to you. That's exactly it, Emerald. It's like Dr. Seuss said, those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. It's like be yourself, be your own self, and your tribe will show up. Jesse, I've got one spot left if you want it. You didn't miss it. I got you. I'm putting you down. Not putting you down like you suck, but putting you down on the list. Okay? Because you are awesome. All right, roulette. Thank you for bearing with me, you guys. I feel like I am so all over the place tonight. But roulette, I swear I shuffled the deck. I hope you heard me shuffling the deck. You got dog as well. You're dogged. So here is an example of how two different people can get the same card and it can be two completely different readings. Roulette, the feeling I get is kind of what I just, kind of the segue between talking with Emerald about dog and talking to you about dog, was that last bit that now I can't even remember what I said. But basically about being yourself. Dog pile. Oh, seriously? Your neighbor's dog just showed up? I think this seems to be the common theme tonight, is about not taking life too seriously. The need to play. And also for you, roulette. Okay, so that last little bit I said about being yourself, and it's like, the more authentic you are to yourself, the more whole and self-contained you are, knowing that you love other people, but you don't need other people. Does that make sense? Like you want I get the feeling like you're looking for your pack, that you're looking for those that you can trust, that are loyal, just like dog. And the main thing is to be true to yourself, to be goofy, to be who you are, because the more of yourself you show, the more you're going to attract people that... It's kind of like a puzzle piece, right? But if you kind of dog-ear the puzzle pieces, they're not really going to fit in, or they're going to get stuck around pieces that don't have the same part of the picture in it. Does that make sense? But if you are authentic in yourself, letting all the corners and the curves and everything show, then those who help to complete the picture that you are a part of will be able to find you and click in and support you as you support them, finding that connection like the puzzle pieces. And by being, not having ulterior motives, not looking to someone else to validate you or to give you permission or whatever, to make you feel loved, to make you feel important, you're going to draw to you those people who are complete in themselves as well, so that you can trust the relationship, that those people have no ulterior motive, right? So that when you do need the support, they will be there because they don't have an extra agenda of trying to get something from you or trying to take control of you. Does that make sense? Um, okay, and the other thing coming through is to really trust your intuition. Really, you start to trust your other senses. Like dog has the hearing, dog has the smell, the scent. Dog knows at a moment's notice who's approaching the house before they even, round the corner of the block to come up the driveway or whatever. They already know who it is. They know if it's a threat or not. So trust your own higher senses to know that you are safe, or to know when you have to raise your hackles and bark. Does that make sense? So it's about that. Okay, it's the namaste thing, right? The divine in me sees the divine in you. It has to start with you. To see that divinity in all things, to see that divinity in all people, you have to be aware of that divinity within yourself. You have to love yourself, in other words. Because otherwise, it's I keep seeing the infinity symbol, right? It's like you've got two hearts. This heart gives love, this heart receives it, then this heart gives love, this heart receives it. And it's a full circuit. It's a mutual benefit, mutual healing. But if you don't love yourself, then anyone you're trying to be close to, you're taking their energy without what you're giving back is not real. The thing is, dog was upright. So I don't think that's the problem. I'm not sure why that might be for someone else listening. I'm not sure if that was for you exactly, but you deserve your own love more than anybody else deserves your love. You are so worth loving. So the message is to fall in love with yourself. Feel the joy of just being alive, like the puppy that's so excited for all the new experiences. And, they might take a tumble and then they just roll over and start playing again. So I think the general thing so far in all of this is play. Love yourself, okay? Whew. I hope that makes sense, Roulette. Oh, thank you, Kat. Kat's my sister. I love you, Kat. All right, Joe, you are next. Again, thank you guys for for your patience as my words try to catch up to my thoughts and my feelings and everything. Okay. Joe, you got the otter. Otter, talk about the infinity loop, right? I mean, when I think of otters swimming, that's basically what they do. They're constantly curving and going with the flow, and otter is basically the presence of the divine feminine. And so with otter popping up, it's kind of that, it's kind of I feel like it's a validation for you in, what's the word? It's like for loosening up, backing off, like otter is all about the flow, going with the flow. And again, play everything. It shows an otter pop. Again, play. That seems to be the general message tonight. Otter is there to validate that you've been able to infuse more play into your life, like not taking things too seriously, not having to drive the point home. You know, it's okay, it's going to happen as it happens, right? And that you can trust the flow. It reminds me of what Abraham Hicks talks about when he says that everything you need is downstream. There's nothing in your past that you need. So, like, stop, but stow the oar, stop trying to row upstream against the current. Absolutely, Kat. I'll give you a call when I get done with the video. Okay? I love you. But being able to stow those oars and allow the river to carry you where you need to go. You don't need to force. And so it's like, and from my experience, like when I say these things, I tend to be almost hyperbole, like you got it, you're doing it, and people are like, not really, but kinda. And so, like they say in AA, it's progress, not perfection, right? You don't realize how well you're doing because you still get into the mix of everything. And so your vision is skewered a little bit, but you're actually doing better than you think you are. And the trend is to play. The trend is to have fun. The trend is that You're not going to be swept away by the currents. You're not going to be overwhelmed by problems, because every problem is a puzzle to be solved. Interesting, I keep talking about puzzles. But rather than, everything being, a catastrophic thing, into the world, life or death thing, it's like, it feels like you've been able to get a little more perspective and a little more like kind of riding the waves up and down, rather than yay, we're going up, crap, we're going down, yay, we're going up, crap, we're going down, right? It's very Taoist. It's like that story about the Taoist story about the farmer who had this poor farmer, and he only had one horse, and one day the horse ran away. It jumped over its fence and it ran away, and all the farmer's neighbors were like, "I'm so sorry, that's so sad, that's so bad." And the farmer's like, "We'll see." The next day, the horse came back, leading an entire herd of horses. And all the farmer's neighbors like, "Yay, that's so good." And the farmer's like, "We'll see." And then the next day, the son was trying to tame one of the horses and got thrown off the horse and broke his leg. And everyone's like, "Oh, that's so bad, I'm so sorry." And the farmer's like, "We'll see." The day after that, the army came through under orders of the king to take all the able-bodied males to fight in the war, and because he had a broken leg, the son wasn't able to go, and so he was spared. And so the neighbors were like, "Yay, that's so good." And meanwhile, the farmer again is, "We'll see." So it's like realizing that life is up and down. It's the yin yang. You know the yin yang, how it's like the two fish. You've got the yin on one side, the yang on the other side, the white and the black. But the line that distinguishes between them is a curve. That's the middle way. That's what they call the middle way, the watercourse way, the way of least resistance. And so that is what you're learning. That is the direction you're headed right now. So trust that. I would recommend, if you haven't read it, or you haven't read it for a while, to read the Tao Te Ching, or listen to Alan Watts. He's got there's a ton of videos on YouTube, and it's like everything is perfect the way it is. The universe unfolds in perfect harmony. And just keep reminding yourself that. Keep watching things, listening to things, reading things that reaffirm that your life is unfolding in perfect harmony. Okay? All right, Kevin, you're up. All right, Kevin, you got lizard. Did you get lizard before? I might be thinking of someone else, but lizard is the dreamer. You're welcome, Joe. I hope that made sense. So Kevin, lizard is the dreamer. Lizard is the one to remind you that, number one, this entire world, your entire life, is a dream. Oh, you got porcupine. Right. So lizard is the dreamer. First off, is to remind you that you are the dreamer, that your life, that the world is a dream. It's an illusion. Who you are is so much more real and true and valid than anything that happens around you. And since you are the dreamer, you get to dream what you want to experience. You get to, there's a lot of like kind of new age talk about creating your own reality. And I always kind of temper that with saying co-creator, because to say creating your own reality sounds like it's coming from ego, right? It's like, oh, I want all the fast cars, all the boats, all the mansions, and, which is fine. There's no judgment. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what people truly desire. And you can have all of that. But ideally, the world is a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of your dreams. And so basically the message is to dream big. Even if you think you're dreaming big now, dream bigger. It's kind of like, as an artist, I always hear like, and kind of as a card reader, etc. too, it's like they always tell you to figure out what you think you deserve as financial compensation for your skills, etc., and then knock it up a notch. Because, like I was saying earlier about your view gets skewed because you're seeing it from yourself and you don't realize how much you actually deserve. It's like, well, I would love to have that, but I can settle for this, and it's like, no settling. Don't settle. If you're dreaming big, dream bigger, and I'm not, again, it's like if the cars and the mansions and all that kind of stuff is what really fulfills you, if that's your desire, there's nothing wrong with that. Do that. Create, your dream house, your dream vehicle. And ultimately, all of that leads you back full circle to yourself, the dreamer. That once you realize that you can have anything you want, that you can manifest anything you need, it's kind of like this stage of disillusionment, where it's kind of like, well, what's the point then? That's when it comes back to roost, and you start to realize it doesn't matter all the things around you. It doesn't matter what you can manifest. It's about manifesting a more true, authentic reflection of yourself. All of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't need the cars or the money. I've got enough, blah, blah, blah. But I feel kind of crappy about myself. I want to manifest self-love. I want to manifest. I'm going to dream about what my life would be like if I really liked myself. I'm going to dream about what would I do if I didn't have to worry about anything else. If there were no other factors, I could do anything I want, what would I do? And to dream about those things. And not so much what's going to show up in your world, but how you feel when that stuff comes up. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like, rather than creating things, dreaming about things and situations. It's about dreaming about who you are, who you want to be when you grow up, you know, who you came into this life to be. And you can still have all the stuff, because when you're coming from your heart and you're coming from that place of the dreamer, you don't have that toxic attachment to things, right? So again, play with it. Yeah. So I hope that helps, Kevin. All right, Jesse, my friend, you are the last one, and then I will do another card for everybody. Cards are on the house. All right, Jesse, got Porcupine in reverse. So Porcupine is about innocence. This totally fits in with everything else I've been saying tonight, including, you know, all about play, all about not taking life too seriously. When Porcupine is upside down, laying on his back, he's vulnerable. Then anyone can hurt him. But, whoops. When he's upright, he's invulnerable. No one can touch him, right? And so, trusting your own innate abilities to take care of yourself, to defend yourself. Again, don't overcomplicate things. Know that an open heart is the best defense. That just like Porcupine can maintain his innocence because he's got these quills. But those quills are the natural expression of who he is. So by surrendering again to that light and love and divine nature within you, that's how you raise your frequency. And then, just like the quills on Porcupine's back, you have all this infinite rays of light coming out. You radiate this light at this high frequency that prevents anything of a lower density of coming in. And so rather than fighting things, you know, if you're fighting something, so you've got something that's bugging you, if you're fighting it, you've lowered your frequency to hit this thing head on, and nobody wins. But if you surrender into the high frequency being that you already are, this begins to not matter. There's nothing there. You know, then we enter that non-dual energy that is the universe. You know, like they say, the best revenge is a well-lived life, right? And so, again, by not taking things too seriously, by trusting your own innocence, the magic within you, there's nothing that can come against you. There's nothing that can harm you. And so, again, being the inner child, allowing your inner child to come out and play and to explore and to adventure. Keep things simple, just like going back full circle to Mouse that started out tonight. It's like, keep things simple. Focus on the shiny things. Focus on the little, like the happy surprises I mentioned before. You are already high frequency. You're a spirit having a human experience, not the other way around. You're already divine. You're already whole. And by dropping the need to defend those things, ironically, is when you become protected, because by surrendering to that innocence and purity of your soul, there is nothing that can harm you. You are an eternal spirit. No matter what happens here, you will go on for eternity. You are one of the individual unique facets of Creator, of divinity, of Source. There is nothing that can ultimately destroy you. And so the more we allow that divinity, that light, that love to come out, the higher our frequency. And then it becomes a game, because all of a sudden you find yourself living in a friendly universe where everything is kind of like the bare necessities, right? Look for the bare necessities, or Mother Nature's recipes to bring the bare necessities of life. It's like the bare necessities, like the bees are buzzing in the tree just to make honey, just for me, or something like that. It's like when you start to come from that place within, that purity, that innocence, that love that you are, then you start to see the gifts that the universe has for you, and you no longer have to fight for them. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. So that is our 6th card. So we're going to do one more card for everybody, whether you got a reading or not. And to remind you again, if you came in late, my only request for watching this video is that you share it. So if you could, that would please me greatly. All right, so the last card for everybody. The bees are buzzing in the trees to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. All right. Oh, I'm glad that made sense, Jesse. We need to get together soon. I miss you. So the card for everybody got Crow in reverse. And so I know this is a messy, mucky time right now. Everyone I know is going through some sort of trial, initiation, muckiness. In reverse, well, so when it's upright, you've got Crow looking at his reflection in the puddle. Awesome. I look forward to it, Jesse. So you got Crow looking at his reflection in the puddle, right? When it's reversed, which one is Crow? Is it Crow up here looking at his reflection, or is it Crow looking at his reflection? Right now is a time of what's a good word? A miasma. To borrow a word from Inuyasha. It's like a miasma. It's like this swirl, not knowing which way is up, not knowing, like so many of the messages tonight was about finding yourself, right? In order to connect to the world, you have to know who you are in order to connect. And this is kind of like, well, who the hell am I? So this is kind of the crux of everything I said tonight about discerning what is you and what is not you. Letting go, seeing the reflections of the world for what they are, just reflections. There's no solid mass there. There's no solid matter. It doesn't matter, right? And when you realize who you are and you realize the world around you is a reflection, then is where you gain your power. Then is when you can hold on to that courage and that excitement to create your own world. But as long as you're kind of like, well, is that me? Is this me? Who's me? And it reminds me of not long ago, one of my guides gave me some advice. And I don't know if I can put it in exactly the right words, the same words. But basically, if you can look at it, then it's not you. Because you're the one that's doing the looking, right? And so if you see something, if you can identify something, oh, you know, that was cowardice, that was this, that was that, it's not really you. That is a reflection, because the eyeball cannot see itself except through reflection. That is the purpose of this world, is for us, because we can't look directly at ourselves, to see our reflection in this mirror that is the world. It's just, don't get caught into thinking that the world is you, that your role is you, that your job is you, that your friends are you, your family is you, that your story is you. You are what the world revolves around. You are that essential, primal, original, divine spark that cannot be extinguished. Everything else is frosting. Everything else is illusion. And so, whatever you're going through right now, know that there is a purpose, that it's not just by accident, and that it's not just the world trying to put you in its place, and that, oh, you didn't work hard enough, or you didn't do enough Hail Marys, or whatever, but that like the waves I mentioned earlier, it's getting dark, but the sun is going to rise. And so it's like writing those things out. It's going through those things that we gain our understanding and our confidence, trusting of who we really are. Everything that's not you has to fall by the wayside. And that's kind of the energy of things going on right now. Things that aren't you are falling away. And if we're identifying with those things, then of course it's going to feel like a death to us. It's going to be threatening. But those things aren't who you are. You are the one that is experiencing, that is perceiving those things. And so when one thing falls away, the question is not, how am I going to live without that? But what's being birthed, what's coming into my life that's pushing that out of it? What new grand thing am I going to have now to reflect better who I truly am? Okay? Oofda. All right. I feel like I was working really hard tonight. I hope everything I said helped. I hope that it made sense. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking through this with me. The only way is through. What's that saying? The only way out is through. That's kind of like what I was saying with that last card. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Know that I am here to help you on your spiritual journey, on your spiritual path, to be the mirror, to reflect back to you things that you might not be able to see, whether it's through readings, whether it's through healing, whether it's through classes. My job is to empower you, to support you on your path. And so please visit my website, perchingwolfstudios.net, and you can peruse all the different shamanic services I offer there. And you can sign up for a session with me right there on my website. And if you enjoyed this and would like a full reading for yourself where it's just you and it's, a full spread of cards, I would love to do that. Also, I gratefully accept donations if you enjoyed this. If you got something from it, if you feel so moved, my PayPal link will be in the description under this when I save this to my Facebook page, and when I upload it to my Perching Wolf Studios YouTube channel. So anything you have is greatly appreciated. If you don't have anything, that's fine too. I do this from the love of my heart. And I know that my true source of abundance is Great Spirit. And so whether it comes through you or something else or someone else or whatever is just fine. So that was kind of a weird thing to say, but I'm kind of not myself tonight. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I will be here again next Monday, same time. Tell your friends. I hope to see you again. And until I see you next, know that I love you, that I see you, that I honor you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I'll see you soon. All right. Go shining, everybody. Bye.